Wish TV, Indiana's only statewide TV news network. News 8 continues now.
Well, in a span of 2 weeks, Indiana went from typical politics to the kind of unification that can only come from the mourning of a fallen leader. For this week's WISHstory, we look back on the beloved late Governor Frank O'Bannon and our crew's memories of covering him.
I actually drove race cars with Frank O'Bannon.
Does it make sense when I turn the steering wheel, the car really goes where I think it's going?
Frank O'Bannon was in driving class this morning at Raceway Park.
As an intern, Jim Shella and Hester doing a story about economic development or tourism when Frank was thinking about running for governor.
To continue to say they haven't made a decision when everything is geared that direction should be really more open with the people of Indianapolis.
This is your oil pressure gauge.
We sat in this class, got in our race suits, and went out on the track and went racing that day. Frank was good. He's a great guy. His wife was always bubbly and happy, and you know, every time you saw her, a great day in Indiana.
I, Frank O'Bannon, do solemnly swear.
Inauguration was outdoors, and it was like 23 degrees below zero.
I think the actual high that day was -1 or 0. It was cold.
So help me God.
He's one of the few politicians that really tried to answer your question.
Sometimes a politician thinks that by getting to know you, they can keep you from asking the tough questions, and I always prided myself on not letting that happen. As a result, Frank O'Bannon gave us his nickname. He called us Good Jim and Bad Jim. And Jim Hester was Good Jim.
Sometimes.
I was Bad Jim because I was asking hard questions.
I think he was very sincere. He, too, strived to have a good relationship with the media.
He also was never short sound bites, I don't think.
Will the federal people be in to help us do the flooding and the tornado and the severe storms? So
that was the last time many Hoosiers saw their governor. He had interrupted a vacation at his home in Corridon to wade into Indiana's flood problem. But he couldn't go back home. Instead, it was off to Chicago for a conference on trade with other Midwestern states and Japanese officials.
The rule was you do not use the helicopter for transportation. That was the one exception.
Yeah, didn't even have luggage. We left here so quickly.
Governor Frank O'Bannon has collapsed apparently at the Palmer House Hilton Hotel in Chicago.
Within a matter of a couple of minutes, we said, security's got to get in, and we got to see what's wrong.
It was a remarkable instant moment of what just happened here.
Members of the governor's security detail were the first people to find him on Monday, and tonight they're still on duty at the hospital. So naturally they were encouraged, just like everyone else was today, at hearing the news about the swelling in the governor's brain.
It diminished a bit today, and that was a good sign. Somebody with a stroke, to the degree the governor suffered, certainly could have increased swelling still to this point out.
It was one of the strangest things, being in Chicago. Somebody from Indianapolis sees me doing a live report. They're in a cab. Eric, what's going on? And I just tried, as they're driving by, I said something about governor, hospital, and they drove on. And at that point, we didn't know how serious it was.
His CT scans, pressure inside the brain, swelling, and neurological responses are identical to yesterday's.
We're here because he asked us to be here, and with him not here, it's a pretty empty feeling.
In a lot of ways, I was just like anyone else who hears a story like that and instantly starts thinking, praying, wishing, hoping the best for the leader of our state.
Dr. Albert says the governor's experience should be a lesson for the rest of us to get screened for the risk factors of stroke. In Chicago, Eric Halverson, Wish TV, News 8.
There was a sense that maybe the good news wasn't going to happen.
That Saturday morning, I was at Whole Foods, and I got a call saying it's going to be today.
And tonight, the people of the state he serves and loves wait anxiously to learn the fate of the man they twice elected governor, a man who is very much one of their own.
As stated in his living will, life support was discontinued.
I have lost my governor and my friend. So too, he has every Hoosier.
Just sadness, I would say, because he was a great guy, Hoosier through and through.
I obviously liked him, but I tried to keep it on a professional level. But it did hurt a little bit.
It was not just a public figure dying. It was the loss of a friend. It was a tough day. It was a tough day, but as with everything else, you got to put that in your pocket and do your job.
Frank O'Bannon was a photographer too, and Judy O'Bannon used his camera to take a photograph on her way back into the State House.
I remember when that ceremony ended, there was a friend of mine standing next to me, and I just leaned over and put my head on his shoulder.
There were the kind of tributes that are given only to a governor. Jim Shella, Wish TV, News 8.
Well, Governor O'Bannon's widow, Judy, has continued her work in the community with an emphasis on historic preservation. A month after Governor O'Bannon's death, she sat down with Debbie Knox to discuss her grief and her next steps. You can find that story along with Governor O'Bannon's obituary told by Mike Ahern on our website. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Our 70th anniversary series highlighting newsworthy moments will continue throughout the year.